My story about corporate America was no way unique. I've been doing pretty good for past 20 years, working for a Fortune 500 company. I graduated from fancy private school and the university, so it was no surprise that I ended up in as a senior executive. Um, I climbed to the top of my career ladder. But however, here I am standing in the corridor of my building, and I hold a pink slip I was handed a couple minutes ago by my boss. So he asked me to come back in 15 minutes and discuss the details. So he said, "Sorry that I break it to you. Your contract is terminated." And he said that the half of department that I'm running will be laid off. He also said that that was a very hard, tough time for a company, and the company is doing all the best for its interest, and um, and that everybody or many people have to sacrifice. And he asked me not to take it personal. Old bastard, I thought. I can imagine his sacrifice. It's like these old men cannot afford now buying Lamborghini. He can just drive his old, not old, ordinary Ferrari. So, but I have three kids, and I have a mortgage, and I have much more to lose. I have something to lose. On the top of that, it's my birthday today, so you can imagine how I feel. Well, what a blow! What a blow in the back. I wouldn't even think that my services are no longer needed. Well, should I look for another job right now, or um, after, should I look for another job after I just leave the building with all my belongings and all my pride? Um, at least I have got a generous severance package. I negotiated for this golden parachute several years ago, and I could invest this money into stocks, or I could travel with my kids and with my wife to Hawaii. I haven't been on a vacation in years, and I think that sunshine and money can heal my wounds, some of them. Well, I worked for this company for 20 years. I remember when I came here, I was 26 years old, and I got this job. I was enthusiastic, I was ready to take on the world. Well, this feeling when you're young. Well, at that time, I had a degree, and I was looking for a dream job. I sent uh, hundreds of CVs. I got dozens of job interviews, and few employers were ready to hire me. But actually, I kept searching for a position that would be appropriate for me. And one day, I saw this job posting in a local magazine. So it seemed promising because of a salary, insurance, and benefit, and retirement plan. Well, I sent CV, and I had um, I've applied for the job, and the next week I got a phone call, and after that the secretary told me to come for the interview for the next day. The interview was short, surprisingly. I answered several questions, a few questions, and they hired me. I was offered this job right there on the spot. So they said, that I was the best candidate and that I was hired, but I had to be ready for taking responsibilities, job responsibilities, and working really, really hard. And this is the way that I landed this job, uh, where I was shifted, where I was promoted several times. It was a hard journey because I worked 24 to 7, not literally, of course, but it felt like this because my typical working day started at 7 and I checked some emails and responded to the urgent ones. I had a cup of coffee and then went to office where I worked from 9 to 5, and I had a lot of job responsibilities like I scheduled the meetings, I arranged conference calls, I gave product presentations, I ran financial reports. um, I did a lot of things besides. I I kept working after my working day was finished because I had very much work to do. So, and at that time, I managed a team of 150 people, and I was very much upset about the fact that half of them will lose their jobs. Well, several times when I was on the edge of exhaustion and I felt very, very much tired, uh, my my I almost faced depression. My parents worried about me. My mom, she worked as a teacher. She really loved his job. She really loved her job, but there was no balance between work and life, and she quit because of her health issues. My father, he worked in a factory and he worked very, very hard, and I remember once he told me that if I'm not happy in my job, then I have to do something with it. So, what they did in their young, um, back in the youth, they went on a strike. They demanded better working conditions. Well, um, but I cannot do like that because, how to say, I cannot go on a strike because America has no takes no pity on people who are tired, and even there is a question: how can you deal with the stress and burnout if you work overtime? The answer is you have to take more. So taking a day off in the middle of the week was something unbelievable. But sometimes I took a sick leave because I felt really, really bad. At some point, I'd almost had enough, but I couldn't just resign my job. Though I was on the very verge giving 2 weeks notice. My wife, she was on her maternity leave, and you understand that I couldn't quit because I couldn't leave my family without any kind of income. Well, to be honest, I never thought that I would end up like this and I can be dismissed from my job. But I won't stand here and feel sorry for myself. I'll go to my boss and I'll tell him what jerk he is. I always wanted to do this. He doesn't like me, I don't like him. So it's time for telling him what I think about him, and uh, to tell him that probably to ask him if I have been ousted from my position in a favor of his relative, and to tell him that he's absolutely incompetent boss and person. So I'm coming. And as I stepped in the office, there was an explosion of confetti everywhere. It was just raining on me and raining down on me, and bunch of balloons and flashing lights, and there was a happy birthday band, and people, uh, including my boss and co-workers, they yelled surprise. My boss was laughing, like with the saying that mm, saying that I really fell for it, and he said that he's not going to fire me. But to be honest, I I just had enough. I turned slowly and left the room, and at this time I quit for real.